Hey, what's up, guys? This is the Cavalry. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure you guys have heard the story that came out of Chicago last week, and a lot has transpired since that week and this week about the beating death of Darian Albert, 16-year-old honor student in Chicago. Now, I understand a lot of you guys did not even want to touch this story. In fact, a lot of you probably were waiting for the Cavalry to go ahead and put out a little piece about it. You know, it's a tough piece. And again, I understand why you didn't want to touch it. I understand. That's cool. So, let's go ahead and break it on down. All right. See, I know a lot of you guys, witnessed when I sat up there and, directly, for the most part, attacked the Young Turks. Why? Because, I thought that they had, pretty much their facts all wrong when it came to Barack Obama when Barack, addresses the black community. And I had to set the record straight. See, there is a inherent problem in the black community, and it has a lot to do with undesirable people, thugs, creatures, animals, whatever you want to call them. It doesn't matter. But these people are animals. They are barbarians. They are worthless and useless to the population at large. It's just what it is. There's no way around it. Just because they're your babies, African American women, does not mean that they're worth anything. And here in Chicago, here was a situation where a bunch of children who aren't worth anything killed one who was worth a heck of a lot more. There is confusion that has happened since Barack Obama made that silly speech where he directly confused on purpose, directly and on purpose, confused African American men with thugs. He was only doing what African American women taught him how to do. What African American women teach a whole lot of African American men how to do. I'm exempt from all that. I figured it out a long time ago. What was going on and what was happening in the black community. And there were others who figured it out. There were ones who came on first on YouTube and just started explaining it to everybody. Started breaking it down bit by bit. And that person, of course, was Sergeant Willie Pete. Made a lot of African American women angry because they had to face themselves. They had to face what they had done to the African American community. They still don't quite want to accept ownership of what they produce. But it is what it is. It's out there. It's out there on the major news networks. It manifests itself for the first time with Jennifer Hudson's family so that the whole world could see. The whole world could put it under a microscope. The whole world saw it. They watched this African American woman, not Jennifer Hudson, but her sister, destroy her whole family just by dating the wrong person, just by marrying the wrong person, somebody who was obviously a loser, who was obviously a criminal, who was obviously a thug, who was obviously going nowhere. But that's what she wanted, that's what she got, and therefore she delivered this creature, this abomination, upon her family. So now let's fast forward a year and some odd months later, and we have an incident on the south side of Chicago that shocked the nation. Very appalled at what they saw. A bunch of black criminals beating the life out of an African American child. A child who was coming home from school, high school. A child who was on the honor roll. See, while the Young Turks was gleeful, while the NAACP was gleeful, I'm not going to put it all on the Young Turks. I'm going to put it on the NAACP too. Because they clapped every time President Barack Obama made a stupid speech towards African American men. not towards African American women, because he called them heroes on Father's Day in 2008, just before he would become president. And then he made another speech to go ahead and solidify the first stupid one that he made to the African American community. And both times the NAACP clapped. They're never going to gain a whole bunch of members. They'll probably gain a whole bunch of black women, old black men. It's what the churches are filled with right now. Tons and tons of black women and old black men and the preacher. The preacher tells the women what they want to hear, and they scorn the young black man. That's why the young black men aren't in church. They got money to make. They're not susceptible to a bunch of parroted crap coming out of these churches that only want to make him into the littlest man possible. They got things they have to do, and they don't want to hear some parroted crap, because the church feels, of course, that they can make a heck of a lot more money off the women. And if they feed these African American women with whatever they want to hear and call them heroes, much like Barack Obama did, then they can have their coffers filled. They can pay for that new Cadillac. They can put that addition onto that church. And the reverend's and his wife's mortgage can be paid. Well, now that that's said, let's get back to Darren Albert. What we saw was just, it was ridiculous. It was just complete chaos. Now, what I want people to do is just look at it clearly and closely. I'm going to show this footage, and you tell me what you see.
The fourth teenager charged with Albert's murder was in court today. Prosecutors say 18-year-old Eugene Bailey is on tape punching Albert in the face, rendering him unconscious. But that's not what Bailey's mother said she saw on the tape.
I say that to them. I say that. That's not my baby.
Also speaking out is Eugene Riley's mother. The 18-year-old is among those charged. She admits it is her son on tape, but says he was only trying to defend himself.
The young man that lost his life wasn't just standing there. He was fighting also.
Yeah. Did you see that? That's right. That was the African American woman that we've been talking about all this time. There are a lot of African American women who look and act this way. And they stretch across class lines. Uneducated, educated, it doesn't matter. These women exist in plentiful numbers, and they are the ones who are making these thugs. I tried to explain this so that folks could just understand and get it. Remember that? You get it? You get it? You get it now? No, you don't. And I know you don't. Look, you can look at these two different women. Both of these women are African American women. One speaks highly intelligently, but her son is still a thug. The other speaks very ignorantly, popping her neck, rolling her eyes, and her son is a thug. What they have in common is that they both had sex and procreated with a thug. And here we have the end result. A vast majority of chaotic thugs running the streets of Chicago, destroying everything, and doing exactly what I tried to explain to the whole of the World Wide Web. If you get two fools together, they're going to have another fool or a set of fools. In this case, African American women have sex. Let me go ahead and stupid African American women have sex and procreate with thugs, criminal thugs, and then have a bunch of thug babies, whether male or female. Those are a bunch of thug babies. And we, as the actual African American man, are too smart to go back after going to school, college, educating ourselves, and then graduating from college, getting our degrees. We get out there in the workforce and we learn even more. We don't have children. We believe in marriage. We believe in marriage before children. We don't have children out of wedlock. That is an African American woman problem. She has sex with the same thug that her friend had sex with and that the cousin had sex with, and they all have babies by the same thug. And I know what you're thinking. There's something not right about that. I agree. There we have the overpopulation. Barack says that African American men are the problem. I say that it's not African American men who are the problem. It is the thug who is the problem, and the African American women who choose to have sex with it or him or whatever criminal you want to call it. The only person who died that day was the early example of an African American man. That was Darian Albert, 16 years old, an honor student.